Get a Job in Tech, episode 261. I'm reading an article here, and here's the article. It says, this person is 42 years old. They make $62,000 a year and deeply regret taking $90,000 in student loans. They go on to say they won't qualify for debt relief, and they're worried that they'll never be able to pay it back. And they ask, what are your options? If you've taken on more student debt than you're comfortable with, you're definitely not alone. 1 in 4 adults have student loan debt. Graduates with student loan are more likely to report financial struggles. It can be an especially tough position to owe a lot of money, especially in life, when you're probably trying to work on your goals. So here's a couple of different pieces of advice that they have. 1, explore your payment plan options. If you have federal student loan debt, there are multiple payment options for you. Income-driven solutions often are the best choice for people worried about their student loan bills because payments are typically capped between 10 and 15% of discretionary income. Plus, when you sign up for an income-driven plan and make 20-25 years of payments, you could have your debt forgiven. I didn't know that. Number 2, choose your employer strategically. This one is accurate. In some cases, your job choice could provide you with relief you need from your student loans. Some employers provide student loan repayment assistance, which could make becoming debt-free easier. I didn't know that existed. If you work for an eligible non-for-profit or government organization, you could easily qualify, get this, for public service loan forgiveness. I didn't know that was existing. This would allow you to have your debt eliminated after 10 years of payments. By exploring these options, you can hopefully find a job where your degree pays off, and that helps you to pay for your education. Number 3, refinance private student loans. If you have private student loans instead of federal student loans, you don't have a choice of repayment plans or the ability to get loan forgiveness, so these solutions won't help you. Let me read that again. Private student loans versus federal student loans. Private, you can't get it forgive, but federal you do. You can look into refinancing, as you'll be able to qualify for a new loan at a lower rate. This could both reduce your monthly payments and how you end up paying in interest. Just be aware that when you're making your loan payoff time longer, it lowers the payments. Number 4, buckle down and pay off your debt. Finally, another option may be available to you. Just get very aggressive in trying to get your debt paid off as soon as possible. This may seem impossible. General guidelines that you shouldn't take on more student debt, than the amount you make in a year. Although you've broken that rule, of course, because you don't know. You go after high school and they say, get this degree, and you go and, they give you a bunch of credit. Like, here's a bunch of credit, FAFSA. You live in the dorm, so all those students, all that, what is it, $500 a credit hour adds up real quick. So if you make $62,000 and you're $89,000 or $90,000 in debt, it's not that you've doubled the debt burden compared to what you've recommended. Taking drastic steps like moving in with family, downsizing your home or car, or otherwise cutting expenses could free up the money for extra payments. You could also consider some side work. Coupling with a few years of hustle and sacrifice, you can enable you to say goodbye to your debt for good, if you could pay it off. Ultimately, these are your best options when it comes to your student loan debt. Extremely difficult to get this type of debt discharged in bankruptcy, and non-payment has dire consequences, including damage your credit and potentially the government benefits. Not being able to have government benefits. Finding a way to pay off or lower the cost of your debt is going to be the only real choice. A couple of different ideas from this is, with the new administration, I think that's what they should do is I don't know. I'm not involved in it, right? So I'm not the one who makes the decisions. I'm just the one that suggests, right? So as a suggestion, as a citizen, let's say, here's a suggestion. The government, at one of the briefings, let's say, the new government gets in, or existing now, and they say, hey, we're gonna make it easier for you to get a second job, essentially. So what that means, instead of working like a 9 to 5 and then going at 4 hours or 5 hours, let's say you're in tech. Let's just say you're in tech and you make $100K a year. Okay. Now, wouldn't it be nice if all the government has to say is just say it, make it an announcement with the no tax on overtime? This could be beneficial for companies. So for instance, you work at an IT company, right? Let's say, and you work as a sysadmin. For example, and you work your 40 hours a week. Now you want to work at the same company. You want to work 4 hours a day, or another, let's say 6 hours or 8 hours a day. Who knows? And you want to do that 5 days a week, or you can offset it to where it's Monday through Friday, and then you work for the same company, help desk, let's say Thursday through Sunday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday till Monday, let's say. And the company can code it differently to where they're not going to they can pay you for 2 jobs essentially, right? So they code you with one job as a sysadmin, and then they code you for the second job as a help desk. Now, this would be something like maybe they could try it out for a couple months. Maybe they do something where the company, now this is up to the company. This isn't the government telling them to do this, but the government just puts it out there and says, this would be a good idea. Then companies will say, okay, let's do it. And anyway, so what I think this would happen is you work as a help desk individual for 3 months, let's say. And while you're doing that, you earn all this extra income, essentially. So it's a quarter, maybe quarter by quarter. So you have a job by a quarter. So it would look something like this: sysadmin for your normal job, and then you do help desk for a quarter. So 3 months, let's say. And that will be the role, just to earn extra income. So sysadmin, let's say, is 100K, and then help desk, let's say it's 50K. So that's considered quote unquote overtime, and you wouldn't pay taxes on it, right? So in theory, you'd get the 50K, all that. Or they could even do it where it's bunched into one, where you make 150K from the same company, but you're not paying. It's treated as regular, not overtime. I'm not sure how they're going to work that, but at the very least, it'd be a good idea. Of course, then again, you could work overtime. This wouldn't really work for companies who you work in is a salary based. This only work for companies that are hourly based. So working for salary. And a lot of companies out there are salary. So they have to kind of figure out how that works as well. That's what I see. Because this person here, they make $62K a year and they have $90,000 in debt. Good luck with that. Really good luck with that. You're not going to want to get another degree, of course, but if you can, in a side hustle necessarily may or may not work. Depends on the person. If they're of the mindset that they want to create something, they could definitely create a course or do a YouTube channel, but that's going to take a long time. But they could definitely create a course for something, and right away in 2 months they can have some sort of income. It's not going to be a lot, but it's going to be something. But there's a good podcast out there called Flipped Lifestyle. That's the name of the podcast, Flipped Lifestyle. They are former teachers from Kentucky. And let's see, one is a computer science, has a computer science degree, I think, and was a librarian. So if that tells you right there, right? Meaning that's, they said, hey, you just get a degree in computer science and you become a librarian. that's totally different. It's a totally different segue job, but that's the person. That's what they chose to do. And the other person, I think, got a degree in history, I think, and was a history teacher, like in a school, and was a coach, a football coach. But now they just teach other people how to. What's their tagline? Have your best day. Basically, try to earn income so that you can not have to work for somebody. And I remember why I listened to this podcast, and they talked about the first time he realized his name is Sams. Let's see, Michael Sams? No, that's not right. Sams. Forget the first name. Anyway, yeah, Flipped Lifestyle is the podcast name. Shane, that's his name, Shane Sams. And I remember him talking about when he first earned like 10 cents or something like that, because they sold lesson plans for high school teachers online. And I remember listening when he talking about he made 10 cents, his first sale, 10 cents. And he said, all I have to do is just keep making another 10 cents. It works. Basically, he was saying is the system works. The method works to earn income online. And so that was really a really nice thing to hear. But Flipped Lifestyle is the podcast. But anyway, so that's, your options are get another job, get a second job, create a course, create content, something like that. Anything you can do to get out of debt, or just lower your income, lower your expenses, and then go from there. Thanks a lot. We'll see you next one.